Hey everyone, welcome to Arknights. I'm gonna talk about chapter 13 in this one. Chapter 13 just recently launched, the Whirlpool That Is Passion. It's a long ass name. I have no idea how, who decides the chapter titles, but in the context of Arknights, it sounds pretty cool. When I was watching the trailer and the title just showed up, the Whirlpool That Is Passion, I was like, wow, that's an insane title. And then, a little while after, I was just thinking about what kind of ass name is what the hell does that even make sense? The whirlpool that is, the whirlpool is formed in a water body, and that's passion. I have no idea, but it's one of the few stories that's pretty good because All Quiet Under the Thunder sounds pretty epic. Return to Mist is intriguing. Shatterpoint is on spot. Stormwatch and all. And then this was also pretty amazing. Except Necessary Solutions, that sounds kind of lame, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Whirlpool That Is Passion. Now, after 6 months or so, we finally got a new story, and I was hyped for this. I was literally hyped for this because we ended chapter 12 with Ines, with beating the Damazi cluster, with the Duke of Windermere coming to us, and it was just there was hope towards the end of chapter 12. There was genuine hope, okay, we can do this. Siege was also united with us, and the team was forming basically. Logos, Amia, everybody. Kalsit was still recovering though, but still there seemed like hope. Now, come chapter 13, and of course, there will be spoilers for chapter 13. So, come chapter 13, and you open up with, everybody on Duke of Windermere's ship. They're gonna transport themselves to the Duke of Windermere's palace or house, or what do you want to call that. And it also, has introductions to, what guard and the reunion, the new reunion have been up to. With them approaching Victoria. It also has Horderer and Ines and W also reuniting with each other, and it's just a good start. Horderer is finally playable. It's the man is awesome, the poet is awesome. But I want to talk about first the story. The story was absolutely amazing despite the the funny name. I hope chapter 14 is entitled something something weird. But the story was pretty amazing. It had the main villain was the vampire, the Count of Sanguinarch or Sanguinarch, and Hodor had a pretty important role in this, as we also saw conversations between the Dark Knights Memorial trio. W is W. I love W so much, man. It hurts that I wasn't a day one player in Arknight, so I don't have many of the limiteds that were there. NTR Knight, W. There are many limiteds that I've missed out. So it still hurts, but it's alright. I love W. So we had that. We had Siege's team. It all starts, pretty hopeful. We're going to a safe haven where, we will work with the Duke of Windermere to, unite Victoria, to remove the Sarkaz, to stop Theresa and Theresis. And everything goes to shit in 13.3, where, they just kill off the Duke of Windermere for some goddamn reason. I have no idea why they do that. I understand that it was from a shock value, they wanted to progress Delphine's story, and killing the Duke of Windermere was the only option, but it still sucks, man. We needed to bond with her. She was a hot lady with an eye patch and a freaking cool design, and you just kill her off in the most stupidest way possible. Come on, man. I wanted to get to know her better. I wanted to cope on the fact that she would be playable. I'm still coping on the fact that Tallulah will be playable one day. Tallulah, Nine, Iblana. I'm literally hoping they're going to be playable. Otherwise, I'm going to cry. But oh yeah, we have Iblana also as well in this one. I think she appears in the first part and then towards the end. But yeah, I'm going to talk about her later. So they kill off the Duke of Windermere. Delphine sees that everybody's, dispersed because, the vampire invades the airship, and it's hell, it's pandemonium. And, everybody gets separated. Siege and her team, Siege and the Glasgow gang, they get separated, they go their own way. The Doctor goes after Amia because, if you don't remember, in chapter 10, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 10, Shining comes to meet her family, the Confessari, or whatever how you would pronounce that. And there you meet this one lady who's actually pretty hot. Not gonna lie, like, she was pretty damn hot. Salus was her name, or Salus, or however you want to call it. I just call her Salus. And apparently she's a villain. I mean, we had hints in that chapter as well, because, obviously, if Shining hates someone, if Shining wants to get away from someone, we trust Shining. Shining's a Rhodes Island operator. I have more trust in her than some hooky dooky person. But yeah, Salus, wants to take Amia's powers. It's a whole mess over here, with many forces struggling to, like, get the Sarkaz power, the Sarkaz crown. And since Amia is the current owner of that crown, everybody just wants to, like, either kill her or steal her power or something like that. And that's where the story progresses immediately. Like, Doctor and Logos, Ascalon, we all go after Salus. In the midst of that, Siege and the team, they go somewhere else. Delphine joins them. So we have, it's like a good progression. We also have on the side note, we have W, Ines, and Orderer going their own way. They meet up with Paprika, and they find art circles in this, chapter. Art circles are basically the main gimmick of this entire chapter. So it's basically like, if I'm not mistaken, it's basically like a powering zone for the vampires, or the Sarkaz, or maybe the Sarkaz. Yes, it's like a powering zone. It's like a place of power. If you've played The Witcher 3, a place of power. It's gotta be something like that. That's how I interpreted it while I was reading it. So we had that. We have illusions and whatnot. There's plenty of stuff. I mean, Arknight's lore. It's so deep that you can't just explain it casually. You have to, like, when you're experiencing it, it's a different thing. But to explain that thing it's not impossible. Unless you, like, you're just taking out the story and compile it into a Word document and, like, voila. But yeah, the story was actually pretty nice. The nodes were also epic. Basically, the entire story revolved around, it was divided in parts. So, like, Hoarder and the gang were after the Ferren Mud. Were after figuring out what the vampire was up to. Same with Amia, the Doctor. Siege was on her own mission to, like, unite the people and protect the people of Norport. And then we had, what else we had? Yeah, Siege meets with Horn, which was actually pretty amazing. Like, I'm so hyped for that. I was like, it's like the reunion, not the reunion that Tallulah and all, but like the normal word reunion. Siege and Horn meeting was, like, pretty epic, and they fought together at, what was that city? It was some city, I had no idea, but it was some city. And after that, we had the Doctor, Amia and all. They were going after the vampire. The vampire was coming after them. Yada yada yada. I mean, let me just see what was some things. It was insane because some stories where some nodes were there which had no stories, which deserved a story but did not have one, and then there were some nodes which did not deserve a story at all and had stories. But that's Arknights in general. So yeah, let me just get a hold of, like, where we were. Brentwood. Oh yeah, we how did I forget them? See, when you read something, it's difficult. That's why I love Arknights. They made an anime out of it. Doctor. So Stainless and Rock come back, and they're in Brentwood. Brentwood also introduces us to a new character, Wendella, whose real name is Magdalene. We don't see Word Aunt anywhere. I have no idea where he was in the story. If he was there, I have no memory of it. But we the gang meet up at Brentwood. Brentwood becomes the base for everyone, and below Brentwood, there's a cave, and there's apparently a Fernmutt, which is like a Chitori, like animal from like the days before, from like ancient Terra, something like that. But yeah, it's an ancient being, and it was insane. Like the story revolved around the vampires were trying to revive it to gain power, and W and all were trying to stop it, trying to get them for their own means. Who's trying to control who, right? And then after that, what was that? I mean, it's such a huge story. It's such a huge story, man. Like, I'm gonna talk about the epic parts. Because honestly, like, it's like certain stories, like you just read it, you know it in your mind, but when you like try to remember it, you're like, where was that part? And you can't just frame the proper story because it's all in your head, like a mushed up thing, and you can't connect the dots, but you don't know in which order it was connected. And that's what I think chapter 13 was, and it was from many different POVs. Like you had Horror's POV, you have the Amiya's POV, Siege, Delphine, Calcit, Shining, W, Ines, I have no idea, many, even the vampire, even Leto, who sadly dies for no reason, but yeah, he dies. And I just remembered something, but it's I completely forgot about it. What was it? Is Leto die, the vampire? Yeah, Nightingale. Nightingale was in this story. She had a beautiful artwork, but apparently the Confessari took her away for some reason. Still have to dive into that. Hopefully chapter 14 dives into that much more. The good parts were like, towards the end, which was actually pretty epic. The vampire fight, the boss fight. The boss fight, happens in this ethereal space where there's stars above and an abyss below, and the Fernmutt is, just floating in the air, like a peaceful being. And you have Amiya, Logos fighting the vampire on top of it. Ines, Horror, W also come in to help. They throw off the vampire off the Fernmutt, which is kind of lackluster. Like, but that scene reminded me of throwing Oberon off the border in Lost Belt 6. I don't know why, but it just seemed very, very similar, the fall and all. But still, yeah, we had that. After that, the story ended. We had a post-credit scene, post story, which was actually the main highlight of this entire chapter 13. Like, you can ask me to talk about any other story part, I'll be like, okay, there was something, Siege and all, they met other people, they formed their own team, they named themselves the Exemplars, they found an old artillery unit, or maybe an artillery identification box or something that had the name Exemplars, and they took on that name to call themselves that. So there was some other stories like that. And then Horror with his poetic stuff and all. But the ending, the last node that was there, let me show you. What was it? 1322, I think. 1322. Yeah, this one. This was nigh epic. It was pretty epic. Why so? Because we have the ending. We see Victoria falling. Because chapter 13 is basically that. It shows us how Victoria is falling, and you can't save it. Nobody can save it. The dukes are fighting with each other for some reason. All the dukes have their own plans. The Duke of Castor, the Duke of Gorodin, the Duke of Wellington, everybody has their own plans. And then you have Theresa, and Theresa is cooking up something with the Shard. Manfred is also helping them. On the other side, you have the Arknights Memorial Trio helping the Rhodes Island operators to what was it? Protect Victoria, save Victoria. Siege is on her own mission to be the king, be the queen that she is meant to be, the true heir to Victoria. And then you have really interesting two things that were really, really interesting that actually have me hyped for chapter 14. It's the one part was Tallulah. Oh wait, I remember one thing. Before talking about this, we're going to talk about Guard. So Guard, I felt they did not give him the respect that he deserved. because Guard was introduced in chapter 7, as a defected member of Rhodes Island. He went to the reunion side, and because he got infected, and he was basically missing after that. Like, he saved a bunch of people over there in chapter 7 or 8, I think. And then he went completely AWOL for like a good 9, 10, 11, 12, and then he appeared over here, which is nice. But then they killed him off again, which was not nice. I'm like, give this man something. They didn't even give him a backstory or something. Like, I'm not gonna lie, in chapter 7 when he came up, I was like, who the hell is Guard? I was like that. So like, yeah, they killed them off, which, I mean, I don't know why, but I just felt like it was kind of a mad disrespect to his character, because he was actually a pretty interesting character, and I would have liked to see him, like, grow up in Reunion's ranks, like become a lieutenant or something, a second in command to 9, because 9 really trusted him. So we had that. 9 is actually a pretty good character. Like, I really love 9. I mean, I know that she's from Reunion and all, but even when she appeared for the tiny moment in chapter 5, I think, chapter 5 or 6, I really liked her there. So yeah, and her design's pretty cool. I mean, when is she becoming playable or whatever? So yeah, 9 Tallulah, Guard dies, obviously. There's a sadness lingering in Reunion as well, but Iblana shows up. Iblana shows up to fight Tallulah because they want to, like, Iblana wants to take the Victorian throne, and she believes that Tallulah is also an heir to the throne. So she wants to remove all obstacles. Iblana is a psychopath. I mean, anybody who's read a character story knows that Iblana is a psychopath. She's pretty dumb. We all love her sister Reed, but Iblana is hot. So yeah, the balance is there. But yeah, whatever that is, the fight was pretty epic. The artwork was pretty insane. After that, we got scenes of Chen. Chen appeared. Bagpipe appeared. Bagpipe and Chen, both of them are, I think, heading to Victoria. No wait, Bagpipe is in Shetley, or something like that, and Chen is on her way to Victoria. After that, the big stuff, the big reveal was the steam armor. Now, apparently in chapter 11, if you remember, Allerdale sacrificed herself to give siege an escape route. She blocked the path off she blocked herself with the steam armor. And in chapter 13's epilogue, she finally appears. You have two sarcasts talking, and then one steam armor pops up out of an alleyway with a figure of Allerdale. Like, her face is hidden, but it's obviously Allerdale. Like, you can see the silhouette, and that's honestly had me hyped because I loved Allerdale in chapter 11. I loved her relationship with Siege, the friendship that they had, and I was like pretty pissed off when they apparently killed her off, but apparently she's not now, so I'm pretty hyped. I hope she becomes playable one day because I really love running a Siege and Allerdale team comp, best friends together. But I think the story was actually pretty good, not that epic like Lone Trail, or what was the other story that I read that was pretty epic, 34 hours, something like that. And I should read more stories. Yeah, it wasn't insanely epic, but it was a good relaxing chapter, even though the story wasn't that relaxing. But overall, the tone of it wasn't towards the epic side. Like, you had chapter 8, you had chapter 6, Frost Nova, Tallulah. Those were towards the epic side. This one was sort of a laid back situation. Like, you're just casually taking it in. Even the Doctor wasn't in for majority of the scenes. And the gameplay, let's talk about the nodes. The nodes were pretty easy. Like, this is one of the easiest chapters I've played in quite some time. The most annoying one was, what was it? Chapter 10. Yeah, chapter 10 with the London Defence Artillery. Was it that? Pretty sure it was that. Or was it 11? Nope. It's Allerdale's Guard, right? Yep. Chapter 10. This shit sucked. This is the worst thing ever. I hate the Londonium defense artillery, whatever, because like 2 minutes in you're blocking something you've planned it out, and then the other minute the Sanguinak comes and destroys another team side. So like yeah, that was annoying. But this gimmick over here with bombs and all, traversing the bombs to like destroy the blood altar, it was pretty easy. Even the boss fight, I mean, I would recommend you to like just stall him out, kill everybody else in the field, because enemy spawn isn't timed with the boss's second phase. You can just keep the boss in the first phase while clear out every other enemy and then just handle the boss yourself. And bombs play an actually pretty important role while fighting the boss. Like you have to accordingly like hit him and then nuke him. So that's for the gameplay part. But I'm really hyped for what's to come. I have no idea what's to come though. I mean, CN is gonna get their 5th anniversary pretty soon, so we're probably gonna get spoilers, and a lot of spoilers. But I haven't read any Babel spoilers till now, so I'm kind of glad that it's there, and that I hope it stays that way. It's gonna do the same for chapter 14 as well, because I'm gonna wait for chapters when the chapter drops to global. But that was my thoughts on chapter 13. I mean, I read it full like in 3 or 4 days. It is so long. It's like a novel. It's like a mini novel. Every Arknight story is like a mini novel, but it's fun to read. And I like programmed myself to expect that whenever I do an Arknights event, I'm gonna do reading instead of playing. So yeah, that's that. Now I can do the playing. When everything's complete, I can do the playing now. But that's that for now. Just wanted to give my thoughts, and pretty fun thoughts, pretty nice. So next part is probably the Virtuosa banner. You're gonna see me there. But till then, have a great day. Please subscribe, and if you enjoyed chapter 13, let me know. Or if you didn't enjoy it, let me know. I mean, anything would do. Or what's your favorite chapter in Arknights? I'd love that. My favorite chapter is probably chapter 8, with the Tallulah boss fight, because we got an insight on Tallulah as well. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and goodbye.